So now when you lift this sliding coupler off, these 3 springs are going to come with it. Now keep track of these springs. You definitely don't want to lose these springs. Also remember the orientation. They go in this direction. I'm not sure if that's easily picked up, but they go in this direction. You really should only go in one way. So you don't want to lose these because they are not a part that you can just buy if you lose them. If you lose them, you pretty much have to make them. So I've got a transmission that I am going to have to make some on, or at least attempt. So this is our coupler. I'm actually going to keep this built up the way that it goes. So, and then this slides off. This is your hub for 3rd and 4th gear. And I will put this in here. And then here's your 3rd gear synchro. It's pretty good. Doesn't look like there's any issues with it. And then lastly, here's 3rd gear coming off. Keep that together. Another mosquito. Just really be out tonight. And then here is your needle roller bearing for 3rd gear. And like I said, it can only fit there. I mean, if you try to put this in 4th, you'll pretty easily notice that it's not going to fit. Same thing with 4th gear. If you try to put 4th gear where 3rd gear goes, obviously it's not going to fit. So that is your gear stack up right there. A little spot so that can go right there. Oh yeah, I want to put these in here because I don't want to lose them. I'm sure you could find replacements for these. You could probably just cut down dowel pins or find short dowel pins or buy bearing or bearing rollers. Any of that would work. So then the last thing you have to get off is this double angular contact bearing. And this one's a little bit tricky to get off. Really, in order to do it, you do have to use a bearing separator. But it's just tricky because you have to get in there. And this is a very expensive bearing to replace. It's a couple $100, I think. So you do not want to damage it in the process. So, but removing it is essentially this similar process, except in this case, you don't use these. With this bearing separator, you use these. So, if I can balance that. Put this like this. Clamp these around. What goes in there? And this is, if you have a press, this is really nice because you can just put these clamps or these bearing separators around the bearing you're trying to separate, and then you just put it in the press and push down here and it'll pop it right off. Essentially that is what the coupler or the puller is doing, but it's just a little bit more complicated. So if you're lucky enough to have a press, then this is an easy job. So, and be careful when you're pulling this bearing apart because it can split on you. It doesn't really, the races don't have anything that really holds them together. The only thing that's holding them together right now is the fact that it's a press fit, and so there's 2 inner races, an outer race, 2 cages, and 2 sets of balls. So you just got to be really careful nothing gets lost. So that's pretty tight. You don't want to tighten it too much because you are essentially clamping against the ground portion of the 1st gear. But that's that. At this point, it's this one and this one. Just go down here. Oh yeah, I ran into this before, I think. Yeah, this is really, really tight. There's not a lot of room for the puller. Let's see if we can make it work. That up a little. And this, those are biting pretty well, so I'm not that concerned. Lastly, get that really nice and tight, and just like before, put the impact wrench on, and you can see it come right up like that. So, alright, that's like that. That whole assembly. Try these mosquitoes again. So just so you can see, this bearing will completely come apart. I mean, it will fall apart in your hand. So just be careful. Like I said, the inner race will come out like this. These balls, they pretty much stay in the cage unless you pop them out, but they will come out. Obviously, there's nothing holding anything to the outer race, so except you can't put the inner race in when the outer race is there because it does have to flex a little bit. So, but that is the whole bearing built up. And like before, I'm going to mark this just so that I know that this side, when I'm working, this side goes up. So, whoop, that's what happens. That's apart. So, that's it. That's your input shaft. The next thing will be to take all those things that I just took off of this shaft and put them on this shaft. So, check on the next video. All right, thanks.